And hello everybody, welcome back to Tousi TV, your global news channel. I am your host Dan, and today we are going to be discussing the incident that occurred in Manchester last night that has seen two people stabbed and an ongoing manhunt concurrent. We will be breaking down this full story on what actually happened last night and of course going through the incompetence of the Greater Manchester Police, because they have been in the headlines recently over the last weekend with regard to a few different things. And of course, there's still another ongoing manhunt from a triple stabbing back in Manchester from November. So we're going to be going through all of that in today's live stream. But as always, guys, please do get involved in the live chat. I'll be taking your thoughts and opinions on this on the screen a little bit later on. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and let's get into this incident. So what we know, guys, is that a man and a teenage boy were seriously injured in a horror double stabbing incident last night in Manchester. Police were called to the incident near Rushford Street and Purcell Street in the Longsight area shortly before 7 p.m. Both men aged 16 and 20 were found with stab injuries at the scene. Witnesses reported seeing a fight in the street before the knife attack. No arrests have been made, but a major investigation to trace the suspects has been launched. Pictures from the scene show multiple police vehicles, as I'm showing you here on this screen. Unfortunately, there's not actually a clearer picture that I have for you. I've scoured the web for it, but this is the picture from the scene yesterday. And as you can see, lots of police vehicles, a lot of ambulances in the area. Now, we do have a police statement to go through, and as stated, guys, a manhunt is currently ongoing. They don't currently have the suspect responsible for this. So let me just get this statement up and we'll read it together. They have said, we have launched an investigation and we are following several lines of inquiry to establish the timeline of events which led to two young men being injured tonight. You may notice additional officers deployed in the local area. While we conduct our inquiries, please do not hesitate to speak to them if you have any concerns or information you'd like to share. We are urging anyone who is in the area this evening who may have seen or heard something, or anyone who has any information that will assist our inquiries, to come forward and speak with the police. So again, To conclude, two individuals stabbed, a boy 16 and a man who's 20. We don't currently know what the motive was, but an individual is currently on the run and a manhunt is ongoing in the Manchester area. So we'll keep you up to date with this if there's any further developments, but of course happened last night. Now, the Greater Manchester Police have been the topic of discussion for a lot of the weekend because, well, obviously they arrested an individual for allegedly burning a Quran. Well, not arresting for that, but arresting him for racially aggravated hatred. And again, of course, have been in the headlines for that this weekend. However, there's another incident that took place in November, and they've put out a fresh statement 2 days ago, as they still stated that they cannot find the individual responsible for that triple stabbing in the Manchester city centre back in November. So again, this is what they've said. They've got they're looking for this individual here. And if you remember it, basically back on the 23rd of November 2024, there was reports of a stabbing or multiple stabbings in Manchester Piccadilly Gardens. Upon arrival, officers discovered two additional men who had suffered similar injuries on Mosley Street outside Barclays Bank, which is believed to be connected. Emergency services attended and all three men were taken to hospital with injuries that were thankfully not believed to be life-threatening nor life-changing. And again, they published this picture of the individual a while back, but did put out a fresh statement still stating that they have not found the guy and they're still looking for the individual responsible for that triple stabbing. They said this was an incredibly concerning incident, and I firstly want to reassure people that we believe this to be a targeted attack with no threat to the wider public. We are still investigating the full circumstances of this incident, and I would urge anyone with information to come forward and speak to us. Knife crime is a forced priority, and we are committed to ensuring ensuring that victims get the justice they deserved. So again, whilst this is coming all too common in Manchester, and since reporting news, there has been a lot of stabbing incidents in Manchester, and those having individual cases where 2 or more people getting stabbed at any one time by an individual. So again, last night, of course, there was the double one, and the manhunt is ongoing. And then there's this incident back in November where there was 3 people stabbed, and this individual still on the run. So a bit of incompetence there from the Greater Manchester Police, and have been in the headlines across this weekend for all the wrong reasons. Is there a conversation to be had on the Greater Manchester Police and their competence, or incompetence, should I say, rather? That is all we've got for you on this story, guys. I'm going to take some of your reaction in the live chat, and we'll keep you up to date with this because the manhunt is ongoing currently now, and we'll keep you up to date with, of course, the state of the victims. But at the time of recording, they're not said to be life-changing as such, but currently in hospital with stab wounds after a double stabbing in Manchester. Right, let's head down to the live chat, guys. What are you making of this one, and what do you think of the police in general within this country? Jennifer Bartlett says there are no deterrents. Again, it's a conversation that we have quite a lot here on Tousi TV with regard to stabbing incidents, and they're going to continue to rise. They just happen and happen and happen. And again, I think every single day until change actually happens, we're going to continue to report on it. Yesterday's morning show was about, of course, an individual, a 15-year-old boy being stabbed in his school by another 14-year-old pupil. And today's one is a double stabbing in Manchester. Again, these incidents with knives are just going to keep on occurring until actual change happens within this country. And again, as we always say, that's not going to the vendor. John says, the police don't do the policing, the public do the policing for the police. Good point. Good point. It certainly feels that there is some level of incompetence with the police, and we've had that discussion. I seen, of course, Mayor's video yesterday. Very, very good watch if you haven't already watched it, of course. The one with regard to the doxing, or Greater Manchester Police releasing the individual's full details with regard to burning the Quran over the weekend. But a really, really good watch, and he broke down and spoke about all of the sort of things, the incidents where things are treated a lot differently with regard to police in this country, and was asking the question on why is that the case. So if you haven't already watched that, make sure you do afterwards. That was posted yesterday by Mayor, where he dives right into it all, and it's a very, very good watch indeed. TB UK says nothing will happen with regard to stopping knife crime in this country because they are so focused on introducing blasphemy laws. Yes, for those of you that don't know from yesterday, of course, Angela Rayner seemingly looking to bring in the new definition of Islamophobia with some new sort of blasphemy laws. That's what their focus is on, and that's what they're focusing on at this moment in time. But there is such big problems within this country, like knife crime, like this sort of level of violence, that needs to be tackled on before we go into those areas. That's kind of fluff, right? You know, we've got people getting killed and people getting seriously injured on the streets of this country, all across the country, everywhere. All the major cities is getting their taste of this knife epidemic, or stabbing epidemic, should I say, and something that needs to change very, very quickly, and something that needs to happen soon. Tackling at the root cause rather than just all this fluff and thoughts and prayers that currently go out there. Taking some more comments. Now, Angela, I was about to call you Angela Rayner then. Angela Haynes says, Rayner's new law is not a priority. I mean, there's a lot of things that the Labour government need to tackle first, but they like to play around with fluff first. They like to do all the things on the side first, or try and attempt to do things on the side. There's a lot of things that they could be tackling right away, and if people thought they were still in a honeymoon period, you know, they are 10% the way through their actual tenure or their time in office. 10% all the way through. through? And are we in an any better place as a country at this moment in time, despite the vast amounts of promises, what they weren't going to do? It seems like U-turn after U-turn. Yes, you could say that they inherited a bad state of the country for the Conservatives. But again, they've been in the office now for 7 months and have done absolutely nothing. They're 10% the way through their sort of tenure, if you like, and haven't done a thing. But serious problems like knife crime are still currently being ignored by this Labour government, and we'll just continue to get statements from the Prime Minister. Sarah Halliday says happening more here in Australia too. It's certainly something that is on rise within the West. People can see correlations everywhere. I mean, there was the incident in Sweden as well yesterday that Tousi TV reported on, and that was horrific. I think at the time of recording, 10 people injured, I think 5 people killed in this shooting incident in Sweden. And again, the level of violence are coming out of the continent as a whole. It's not just a UK problem. It's the continent in general, just seeing this rise of violence in the West that wasn't a thing, say, 20, 30 years ago. This just wasn't a thing. However, now we're just starting to see a rise, not just in the United Kingdom, but all throughout the West. And it's very, 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 very scary. Really scary. We've got a super chat. Thank you so much for donating, Vic, as always. $5. He says, US citizen here, and the blasphemy laws being introduced there are appalling. The Gov needs to be reminded who they work for, in my opinion. Good luck. Yes, I mean, I think most of the UK citizens are pretty unanimous that we don't want this, apart from a small minority, I suppose, people that actually back Labour. But again, nobody wants this in this country. And again, they're just trying to push this sort of agenda down our throats. But nobody here in the UK is backing these kind of laws that they introduce. Nobody wants it. Again, apart from a small minority of people, I suppose, within the country. But I love the way that the US is going right now, and it seems as though you have got your country back. A lot of people bringing up Australia. So he's saying, Sam says, it's happening more and more in Australia now, terrifying. New Australians hate our flag and way of life. So yeah, you could definitely say it's not necessarily just a Europe problem, but certainly a West. I know Australia, of course, is over in the East, but we count as the West as such. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really been following Australian media, but I did live there for a year, and I felt like it was a very, very safe country back then. Of course, 6 years ago. But people on the ground there saying that more of these incidents are happening in their country also. So certainly a problem that's universal. And can we see can we see what the problem is from the big perspective? But yeah, certainly. I mean, Europe is definitely fallen. Europe is definitely in a bad place when it comes to these violence and these violent crimes. Facehugger says we need somebody like President Donald Trump here. Well, again, this is the conversation. Again, people are looking towards the Reform Party as being that solution, being that flag for us, or Nigel Farage being that Donald Trump. But then again, I've seen a lot of conversation to say that Nigel Farage is not necessarily that character, and he wouldn't be Britain's Donald Trump. So, do you think we have a Donald Trump waiting in the wings? Whether that be a Rupert Lowe, whether that be a Lee Anderson, or someone in the Reform Party, or you can maybe look at the Tories with Robert Jenrick as well. Is there somebody that could be a Donald Trump for the United Kingdom and really make change within this country, especially when it comes to violent crimes such as the one we're reporting today with the stabbing incidents? The knife epidemic, the stabbing epidemic needs to stop in this country because it's getting all too common. And I think actually this was a double stabbing yesterday in Manchester, but there was actually another one as well, which was not related, but this one was 2 people got stabbed, of course, in part of one incident. There was another individual that got stabbed in the city as well. So 3 in one day. So Manchester is seeing a massive rise in it as well. But it's not just a Manchester thing. It's not just a London thing. We've seen it in Sheffield. We're seeing it in South Wales. We're seeing it everywhere across the country. All the major cities and towns are starting to see their fair share of this stabbing epidemic. I'm interested to see there when people are talking about Trump. I want to see if the UK, or if you guys in the comments believe that we have that sort of character, genuinely believe that we have this sort of character like a Donald Trump. Again, a lot of people pushing Nigel Farage naturally as the guy that is going to sort out this country, but I do see a lot of people opposing and thinking, no, Nigel Farage isn't that guy for the United Kingdom. Again, this is not my views. I'm just seeing what the overall debate is within this country. Would Nigel Farage, if he came to power in 2029, would he be the man that Trump is to the United States? I'm eager to know your thoughts in the comments. We've got another super chat. Thank you so much. Mark donates £5. He says, if we did have blasphemy laws, it must apply to Christianity and other faiths. This is a Christian country. God bless Puppy Dan, X-Forces guys. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Mark, for your donations. Again, yeah, I mean, if you're going to bring in laws for if that was the case with regards to religion, you can't just protect one religion in this country. If that was the road that they were going to go down, and again, I do believe that everyone has the power should be able to have freedom of speech, be able to say what you like. Yes, again, I don't condone people burning flags, burning religious textbooks. I don't condone that, nor would I ever do that in my life. However, I do believe that people should be able to criticize things. Just because someone doesn't believe in something, but people should have the voice and the right to go, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I think that's this. I think that's that. It's a very, very dangerous road to go down when you start banning people from being able to voice their opinion on things. And certainly, again, certainly there. Oh fuck. Are we good? I just had a little technical difficulty. 2 seconds. I just got a encoding overload thing come up. 2 seconds. Apologies. Yeah, I think we're okay. Yeah, sorry. I have no idea what happened there. My laptop just came up and said acid encoder overload. Apologies. I'll cut that up if people are watching on a replay. But yeah, thank you, Mark, for your donation there. Not sure what happened there. I completely froze for a moment. We've got some more super chats to go through, guys. So I'm going to go through them. But as always, we will take non-super chats as well. Jenny has... Oh, crap. Jenny has... We've got another super chat. Oh my god, my laptop's gone mental. I have had a technical difficulty. I apologize massively. I do not know what's going on with my laptop right now. Apologies. But I'm going to go try and get through these super chats. For some reason, my live chats, that I'm not being able to bring up the live chats on the screen, so apologies for that. Something's gone on with my laptop in terms of an encoder overload or something like this, and unable to press anything on my laptop as we speak, which is really freaking weird. But I'll try and read out some of the super chats without bringing it up on the screen. I've got to adapt and overcome. But Vic the Red donated $10 and said, heads up, the Gazans started to move. The Gazans started to, heads up, when the Gazans started to get moved out, soon you're going to have a huge influx of them going to the UK. Those huge invader compounds being built, believe me, you do not want to be there. Thank you so much for your donation, and I don't know too much about this subject. Again, we've got another donation from Wait What saying... with $5 New Zealand dollars, saying Dan keeping it real low. Yes, I know. Unfortunately, sometimes technical difficulties can arise. And to be fair, I actually thought the stream got shut off momentarily. So being able to not bring up the chats as such is a small issue compared to what I thought it was. I thought the whole thing had just completely capitulated and shut down. So I'm happy that that hasn't happened, but apologies for that. These things happen, and thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and thank you for your super chats and your donations. Unfortunately, I can't bring any more chats up right now, but I have amended, ready to go for the next live stream. But thank you so much for tuning in. Again, sorry for the disruption there towards the end of the live stream. I have been Dan. This has been Tousi TV, and we are the media.